So, Premier League football has returned after a quite frankly embarrassing and pathetic international break, which saw England take on two BTEC San Marinos in Finland and the Republic of Ireland. Premier League football is back this weekend, people, and Manchester United are back in action for this weekend's matchday fixtures on matchday 4 of the 2024-25 Premier League season. Newly promoted Southampton away at St.MARY'S on Saturday afternoon, where this could be Erik Ten Hag's last game in charge for Manchester United if we fail to find any kind of a positive result come Saturday afternoon and the full-time whistle against Southampton. Could this be Erik Ten Hag's lot if Manchester United fail to beat Southampton this weekend? I think realistically, where we are as a football club currently, we are in exactly the same position as we were in last season under Erik Ten Hag, where we won our first Premier League game and then we suffered back-to-back defeats in our third game, which is exactly happened this season. We won our first game and then lost back-to-back Premier League games. I don't think Erik Ten Hag has got a chance of keeping his job if this goes badly wrong on Saturday. I honestly think he could go. I think the writing is massively on the wall. I think all this PR that we have heard at the football club, that he still maintains the backing of Ineos, I think that's PR. I think Ineos have already made their mind up. I think Ineos have already decided a replacement for Erik Ten Hag. I think this is just pure bluff. And I think Ineos know Manchester United are in a difficult position after 3 fixtures this season. We are in a peculiar and dangerous position. We are only 2 points above the bottom 3. Are Manchester United in a relegation battle, I hear you ask? Well, we could be. We could be. It could be that season where Manchester United finally get relegated. It could be the season where we play championship football next season, because if we're realistically looking on the last 2 games, where are the positives? Where are they? Because I don't see it. I don't see how Erik Ten Hag has changed anything from what last season was. There is still no identity. There is still no style of play. And I think Erik Ten Hag is a dead man walking, because if he fails to change anything and he doesn't change the team and he doesn't change the tactical approach against Southampton Saturday, we are going to get found out quite quickly. But I think we have to start with Southampton. I mean, they shouldn't be back in the Premier League, should they? Like, I can't believe a team like Southampton are back in the Premier League. Like, Leeds United should not have lost that playoff final, should they? I think Leeds absolutely bottled getting back in the Premier League after losing the playoff final in May to Southampton. And again, where are Southampton? Already back in the bottom 3. Russell Martin is their manager, is already fighting to keep his job after 3 games. And Southampton are facing a straight relegation back to the Championship after only being back in the Premier League for 1 season. Having clubs like Southampton back in the Premier League is an absolute disgrace. They're not good enough. But the problem is, this is the problem the Premier League have. There's too many yo-yo clubs coming in and out the Premier League every single season. And it's going to keep on happening if clubs like Southampton, get these parachute payments when they get relegated and bounce straight back up again. This is my problem with the Premier League. This is my big problem with this division. The relegated clubs get a big, massive advantage over the Championship clubs by giving them ridiculous amounts of money with parachute payments once they're relegated from the Premier League. They go into the Championship, they're too good for it, and they come straight back up again. And then the season they're back, they go straight back down again. It's the same old story of the Premier League and the Championship, and I think something has got to dramatically change for the Premier League to get any stability from any of these 3 promoted clubs, because so far this season, it's already looking like the 3 promoted clubs in Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton are all in a relegation fight again after 3 games. And it's not good enough. But I think Manchester United, no, they have to win. We can't afford not to go to Southampton and get anything. But a worrying stat is Manchester United have lost their last 9 league away games against Southampton in their last 15. And again, that is a very, very worrying stat, especially where after what we saw against Brighton and after what we saw against Liverpool, Manchester United have been found out already, and it's not looking good for Erik ten Hag, is it? If we're going to be honest, I think he probably knows that he's up against a lot of problems. He's up a lot against Ineos. He's up a lot against the fans, and he's up a lot against the supporters. But again, Erik ten Hag is managing this club, and he's got to get results. He's the one trying to be the manager of this football club, and he's got to achieve success on the pitch. And granted, I mean, we've won 2 trophies back to back under him, but I didn't expect to start the Premier League campaign like this again. Like, I did not expect to repeat last season's start. I expected Manchester United to be pushing on, and we haven't. The last 2 seasons in a row, Man United have not pushed on. I feel like we've gone 10 steps back than where I thought we were going to be. I honestly expect us to be up there this season, challenging, not for the Premier League title, but mainly top 4 and to get Champions League football again. But when you're already 6 points off Man City, 6 points off against Liverpool, how are Manchester United realistically going to turn this season around? I think it starts today. I think it starts on Saturday. I think with the quality of players we've got compared to the leaky defence of Southampton, where they try and play out of the back and they get themselves into the right old pickle, that is a big advantage for Manchester United, is to pounce on that Southampton back 4 very, very quickly and get a good early start to the game, because we don't want to be facing a situation where we go 1 or 2-0 down at half time and then we're facing a mountain to climb in the second half to try and rescue at least a point. Even a point, I don't think is good enough. I think we need all 3. I think Ten Hag knows that. I think the players know that. But I think the international break, even though I'm not a big fan of it, I think it did help. I think the international break did kind of help, because I think Manchester United fans have seen enough already of this season to see where the direction the season will go. And that is one of the nightmare. I think the season we are going to go, we're just going to keep falling and falling and falling and falling until something dramatically changes. I mean, do we stick with Erik ten Hag if we lose Saturday? Do we sack him? I mean, what do we do? Realistically, what do we do if we don't win on Saturday? Because if we lose, then Erik ten Hag's got to go. I don't think there'll be any Man United fan or supporter saying he's got to be kept. I think the Erik ten Hag bandwagon will be in full swing if it goes badly wrong, and it's already there. After 3 games, it's already there. And, you know, I thought Erik ten Hag was the right one to lead this club forward into season 3. But as history tells, every manager by Christmas in their 3rd season is sacked. Is it a foregone conclusion that might actually happen? Could we see yet another Manchester United manager gone by Christmas time? It could happen, because we do need to pick up points. We do need to pick up results. And I think Ineos already know, if this gets worse and we go on a long losing run again, Erik ten Hag's got nowhere to hide. He can't use the injuries as an excuse. He can't use the style of play as an excuse. He can't use fatigue as an excuse. He can't use, I'm still trying to get these players to gel as an excuse. He's got to start getting the best out of the new players he's got. And he's also got to get the best out of the players he's currently got as well. Like, he's got to try and gel this squad into an absolute machine that can go on a long unbeaten run and get us up that Premier League table, because realistically, where we are in the Premier League, we're currently 14th after 3 games on a minus goal difference already and only on 3 points. If someone would have said to me, we would repeat last season's start, I wouldn't have believed you. But now I kind of would have believed you, because did anyone see this coming, realistically, that Man United would get worse? Or would it get any better? Or is Erik ten Hag trying to get himself the sack? Is Erik ten Hag deliberately trying to screw up his tenure as manager and get himself the sack because he knows that decisions he wants aren't being made now? Ineos are trying to restructure the football club from the top to the bottom. And I think they're also deliberating on what players Ten Hag can get and what players Ten Hag won't get. Is there a complete disconnection between Ineos and the manager? And Erik ten Hag is trying to show that I'm not being allowed to make any decisions. Ineos are the ones to blame for the problems on the pitch. Or is it the players we got simply ain't good enough? I think that's probably a big problem, because we've seen that in the last 2 games, that the favouritism is still massively there at Manchester United. Erik ten Hag still doesn't start players like Matthias de Ligt. He doesn't start players like Garnacho. And Players like Casemiro and Marcus Rashford and Diego Dalot, Andre Onana, are still starting games for Manchester United. Like, I honestly expected this favouritism to stop with certain players at this club. But I feel like Erik ten Hag, is he doing this deliberately by picking Marcus Rashford? Is he doing this deliberately starting Casemiro? Is he doing this deliberately starting Diego Dalot at left back when he's not a left back? Is he starting Onana in goal because he knows the two backup goalkeepers he's got aren't fucking good enough? Or does he think, well, I expected a better transfer window and I haven't really been given one, and we're still in exactly the same position we were last summer? Are we realistically in a title race? No. But one of the comments that worried me before the international break is that the comments regarding Agate, like Agate's not even kicked a ball for Manchester United yet, and it's already damaging any hope of Agate being a good signing, because Erik ten Hag's words, and I quote, "This could take weeks, this could take months for Agate to get up to speed for Manchester United." And you think to yourself, you're looking around the room thinking, what? What do you mean it's going to take weeks? What do you mean it's going to take months? And because apparently Agate's not had a proper pre-season, he isn't going to be up to speed yet with the tempo of the Premier League. He's not going to be ready to start games. He's only going to be realistically an option off the bench. We've just paid 60 million euros for a midfielder who's better than Casemiro, better than Eriksen, better than McTominay and Hannibal Mabry, who both are no longer at this football club. And you're telling us that you're still going to go ahead and pick Casemiro at CDM, where Casemiro has been the biggest problem in all three of our games this season, which has led to all three piss-poor results. I mean, that 1-0 win against Fulham wasn't great. It was pathetic. We got bantered by Liverpool, and we got bantered by Brighton in the closing stages, where we conceded a stupid set piece on the edge of our penalty area, and you've got players moving away from the Brighton attacking players who are left completely unmarked to get a free header on goal to clinch all 3 points for the Seagulls. And you're telling us, well, Agate's not ready. Agate's not ready. I mean, if that's true, that Agate is not ready, even though he played extremely well for Uruguay on international duty last week, you're telling me he's not ready. If that's true, then Erik ten Hag has got to be sacked. Because if he's going to keep on picking Casemiro, the fault from his performances in recent games are going to keep coming to a conclusion where he's going to make the same old mistakes. And he's going to cost Manchester United, because he was badly at fault for 2 of the goals on last Sunday when we lost 3-0 to Liverpool. And he was at fault for half the display against Brighton, and even Fulham, he was even worse. And you're going to carry on sticking with a Casemiro who basically cannot do it anymore. If that's true, you've just spent 60 million euros on a paperweight, because that does not look very good if you're not going to start your brand new midfield signing, who, for me, can take this club up to the next level of midfield dominance. And you're basically coming out stating that he isn't going to be ready to start games yet. It's going to take a lot of time. It could be months. And another comment that I'm very deeply concerned about Erik ten Hag is he come out and said, "I'm not Harry Potter." I mean, I know he can't work any magic. I know he can't go izzy wizzy, let's get busy. But surely to God, your job's been kept. You've been given season 3 in charge of the most successful English football club of all time ever in Manchester United. And you're telling us, I'm not Harry Potter. I can't work magic things quickly. It's going to take time. It's going to be a process. We've seen 3 seasons of Erik ten Hag. Last season was a joke where the players threw him under the bus, but this season has got even worse. He's been given Mazraoui, he's been given Delit, he's been given Xerxes, he's been given Agate, and he's been given Yoro. If those 5 aren't backing, I don't know what is, because that is backing in some extent. But what I'm hearing now is we're still not ready, let's be honest. Those players do not look match fit. They don't look ready for the new Premier League season, and we look a complete mess again. And I get that. And you can't use pre-season as an excuse. You can't. You're still playing competitive football at pre-season level. You may not be ready, but surely to God, these players should have been fired up. Whatever's going on, whatever's holding this back, Erik Ten Hag has got to fix. Because the more longer this takes, the worse the results are going to get. And the position Man United are going to get in is going to be even worse. If we go into that bottom three, we are fighting relegation. If we get relegated, it might be a blessing. The problem with getting relegated, the club financially would be fucked. We'd be absolutely screwed in the Championship because, yes, we would be given parachute payments, but the financial stability in the Championship, there's certain rules that have got to be met comparing what players can be on, how much the club can earn through revenue and profit, where money goes to certain avenues of the club and to the EFL. Man United would be absolutely fucked if we end up in the Championship. But it might have to happen to actually ever get this club back to where it needs to be. But I don't want to be in that fight. I want to be competing for all major honours on the pitch. And we're not doing that. Because I feel like this manager all of a sudden has lost his mojo. The atmosphere's gone. The fans have gone. The supporters have gone. The performances are horrendous. Everything's not going right again. And you want to try and look positive ahead of this weekend's game. I think we can win this because Southampton are shit. They shouldn't be in the Premier League. They're absolute dog shit. How this lot got back in the Premier League is an absolute myth because they're shit. Russell Martin is a B-Tech League One manager who got Southampton up through pure luck of his own. He ain't no good manager. He's a B-Tech League One manager at best. Southampton should not be in the Premier League competing with these teams because they are crap. They can't play at the level. They don't have the funding. They don't have the money. And they also are playing most of their players they had throughout that Championship. And they're expecting those players to go again for them, even though half of them are not Premier League level. And they're expecting to turn into prime Premier League players after a few games of the season. Southampton are gone. If Southampton lose this weekend, which I'm expecting them to do, Southampton are gone. They're getting relegated. They're going down. And they deserve to go down because they're shit. They are leaking goals like a sieve. Man United need to go for it this weekend and absolutely run fucking riot. If these players have got anything about them at all, go to Southampton and run fucking riot. And go and get an 8 or 9-0 win and get this fan base and supporters back on side. We can't afford another defeat here because the fans and supporters have put up enough this season after 3 games. Any more, these fans are going to be on you even more than what we're already on you. Because there's certain standards that we want to see. These players aren't producing it. Is it the tactical approach? Is it there is favouritism with certain players and other players do not like it? Or is Erik Ten Hag basically lost the dressing room? I mean, he doesn't want to use Garnacho. God knows why. Because he's basically one of Manchester United's best creative players on the wing. But then he started Marcus Rashford in every fucking game. And I think that's got to be looked into. If Marcus Rashford keeps on starting games for Manchester United, alongside players like Casemiro and Delo and Onana, there's got to be something in those players' contracts that are being stated. Certain players have to be starting every game for this club because they're the face of the football club. Is that happening already? I think it is. Because if Marcus Rashford isn't performing, he's got to be dropped. Erik Ten Hag has got to call this out. If Erik Ten Hag refuses to change and he carries on with his favouritism, then you're sacking yourself, mate. Because no one wants to see this every week. It's boring. We have figured you out. You are clearly kissing the ass of some of these players who don't deserve praise, who don't deserve enlightenment, who don't deserve any form of confidence or positivity around them when they're playing shit. If Erik Ten Hag carries on doing that, get another manager who is going to be ruthless as fuck and get rid of these players and bring in talented players that are willing to go the extra mile. Because I think they're not. They ain't performing to their best. They don't want to do it. And I think it's not just down to them. It's down to the whole tactical approach because we're still playing a false 9 every week. We saw it against Brighton. We saw it against Fulham and we saw it against Liverpool and it did not fucking work. We've got no proven goal scorer because we basically have Xerxes and that is it. We don't have a midfield because Hannibal's gone, McTominay's gone, Eriksen isn't good enough, Casemiro's gone. Like, you have to admit, where's this team which we were promised there was going to be a complete change, a complete restructure of everything going on? Why we are now getting people like PR journalists, and we know who they are on Twitter. And what annoyed me is Samuel Lutkers come out of a tweet today in an article, I think it was in the Manchester Evening News, and he said, Manchester United next summer are planning to get another centre-back, a left-back, a midfielder, and a winger. Why the fuck was that not done this summer then? Where's the other centre-back? Where's the left-back? Where's the midfielder? And where's the winger? It's an absolute disgrace. And on my view then, I feel then sorry for Erik ten Hag, because if he's basically said, I needed a left-back, you didn't get me one. I needed a winger, you didn't get me one. The centre-back the other centre-back I wanted, you didn't get. And centre-back, left-back, midfielder, you didn't get me either. And you didn't get me my winger. That isn't backing. That is throwing the manager to the wolves again. If that's true, that we're going to have to wait till next summer to get those 4 priority positions, this manager has not been backed. I'm sorry to say, I have sympathy then on the side of Erik ten Hag, because if he stated to Ineos, I needed 4 more players to get this squad to where it needs to be, where the fuck are they? And that has to be called. If that's true, that's not backing the manager. That is basically saying, get on with it. You've got Eriksen, you've got Casemiro, get on with it. You've got Shaw, you've got Malacia. Yeah, they're both long-term injuries, you muppet. Eriksen, Casemiro, they can't do it anymore. I needed another midfielder. You got me Agate. Where is Amrabat? And apparently we wanted Amrabat back. Why did we not do it? Because Man United are idiotic. They don't want to spend money where they don't feel it's necessary to. I mean, what annoys me, and apparently we're back in talks to get Rabiot on a free. I am seeing loads of Man United fans and Man United supporters absolutely losing their shit that we are going back in for Rabiot because he's a free. I'm sorry to say, get over it and stop moaning about it. Rabiot is 10 times better than Casemiro, 10 times better than Eriksen, better than McTominay, better than Hannibal, and you're basically saying, well, if he's demanding a stupid signing on fee and stupid wages a week, don't go anywhere near him. He's on a free transfer. I don't care if his mum's an issue in the negotiations of the transfer. I don't care. We need another midfield option because we cannot go with this midfield for the rest of the season because they didn't replace McTominay. They didn't replace Hannibal. They should have sold Eriksen at a loss. They could have taken 5 million. Man United didn't want to lose that. Joke. Casemiro, they didn't want to take a financial hit on. It's an absolute travesty because, in my view, Casemiro and Eriksen should not be starting any more games, and that starts this weekend. I don't want to see Casemiro starting. I don't want to see Eriksen playing. These players should not be given any more game time. They have shown it already now that they can't do it. If Erik ten Hag continues to do that, that is on Erik ten Hag's shoulders if it costs us result. Because if they make the same old mistakes and they cost United on the pitch, United are going to get worse. And United will not transition. We will not move forward because a manager is favouritising certain players over others. If he starts Eriksen and Casemiro over Agate on Saturday, that isn't fucking good enough. Because Agate is ready. All this bullshit that he's not ready and it's going to take months or even weeks to get him up to the level that we need is absolute bullshit. That is not good enough from a manager of Man United's stature to be coming out and saying he isn't ready. I'm not Harry Potter. It could take months for him. I'm sorry, Erik. If you want to get sacked, mate, and get the big fucking payoff you're going to get, apparently, which we all know what it is, be my guest. Get yourself sacked. We will move on without you. But at the end of the day, you've got to start recognising some of these players are falling off now. Their careers are fading away from them. They can't produce the level that everyone is expecting them to do. And if you go with Casemiro and over Agate, that's a disgrace. Because Agate is ready to take this to the next level that this midfield actually needs. And I'm even seeing other fan channels mention, well, Kobe Mainoo could do with a rest. Like, you what? You think Kobe Mainoo needs a rest? Are you having a fucking laugh? You want Kobe Mainoo to be rested. He doesn't need a rest. These players should be playing through the mill for this club. Oh, I don't care if they're tired. I don't care if they're exhausted. I don't care if they're knackered. At the end of the day, start showing some balls and start turning up. Because if you're saying, oh, I'm tired, I could do with a rest, I don't actually care. You are players being paid stupid wages a week to represent this football club. And you're basically saying, well, I could do with a break. We've got other options. Why do I need to be starting? Well, because this football club hasn't got other players that are better than you. That is the big problem. We don't have players better than you. Mainoo should not be getting any rest, nor should Bruno. They should not be rested on Saturday. If we do it, it's going to absolutely go wrong very quickly because there will be no leadership in that team. Without Mainoo and without Fernandes, there ain't no midfield because Eriksen can't do it. Mason Mount's injured, by the way. So our midfield rotor at the moment is Casemiro, Fernandes, and Mainoo. Because Eriksen ain't going to play. Eriksen ain't going to play. So I don't understand why people are moaning about, oh, why should we sign Rabiot? Because he's better than Casemiro and he's better than Eriksen. It's not hard to figure out fucking a bit of common sense. Rabiot would absolutely bring quality to that midfield. That midfield's lacking. If we're in talks to do it, I'm begging Man United to do it because we need that midfield option. And yes, we've been chasing him for 2 transfer winners now. But isn't it about time it's third time lucky that we actually get him and actually bring him to the club? Like, if you have to give him a stupid signing on fee, I don't care. If you have to give him stupid wages a week, I don't actually care. Because at the end of the day, at least he's better than what we've currently got. And he would bring quality to that midfield where others are lacking. And that's quite quickly showing. As for the front three, we all know what's got to happen. We all know what's going to happen. Because what went wrong against Liverpool is that Ahmad didn't start. And it absolutely infuriated me that Ahmad didn't play and he didn't start that game. Why? I don't know. Does Erik ten Hag not rate him? Does he not think he's any better than Garnacho? Does he not think he's any better than Rashford? I don't know, because that was a bad decision that went wrong very quickly because he was the only bright spark in that second half that actually did something. Why he didn't start is absolutely bewildering because he actually caused Liverpool problems in that second half and they couldn't cope. In the end, the result was gone. When you concede the third goal, you ain't coming back from that. So Ahmad's got to come back in. And if Ten Hag actually sees some sense, he doesn't start Rashford on Saturday and he starts Garnacho on the left. Will he do it though? That's the big question. Will Erik ten Hag do it? If he doesn't, then the result is Rashford will do the same old stuff that he's been doing week in, week out, is trying to take on one of the back four, loses the ball, slumps his shoulders and doesn't jog back or doesn't run back to track the attacking probability of happening. He doesn't track back and he doesn't defend. As soon as Rashford takes on one of the Southampton back four, he'll lose the ball and Southampton on the counter-attack. That is typical Marcus Rashford. If he's not performing, Erik ten Hag has got to see this sooner rather than later. That chose the future. Rashford is not needed anymore. I don't know why we didn't sell him this summer. I don't know why we didn't do it because I would have done it. And once EAFC 25 is out, which I'll have in 2 weeks, because I've got the Ultimate Edition, he's getting sold. He ain't getting kept. And people can say, oh, that's not realistic. I don't care. He isn't good enough and he ain't good enough in real life. And I think Garnacho has to be starting games because I think the more game time he doesn't get and he's more on the bench, that Real Madrid move that we keep on hearing about is going to happen. If we lose Garnacho, the fan base will erupt. If we lose Garnacho to Real Madrid like we lost Ronaldo that time, this fan base will absolutely fucking erupt. And I don't blame him if he goes to Real Madrid. I don't fucking blame him because at the end of the day, at least they're winning things. They're champions of Europe for a reason. Like, Real Madrid don't fuck about. Man United we keep on doing the same old shit every time. So if I was Garnacho and it keeps on happening, if he doesn't start Saturday, look for that Real Madrid move very quickly and get yourself out of this club, because you're better than this. Like, you deserve to be starting games. You're better than Rashford. You're performing well on international duty of Argentina. You're a World Cup winner for a reason. Like, it says a lot about Garnacho. He's a World Cup winner for a reason. And this is why he needs to be starting. And if Ten Hag does it, brilliant. It shows that we are not going to start the favourites anymore. But it wouldn't surprise me that the team that started against Liverpool starts against Southampton. It wouldn't surprise me at all if there's any changes. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The midfield's the same, the front three's the same, and the back four's the same. But again, the whole team's completely imbalanced because Garnacho doesn't look right on the right. And I've been saying that for how long? That Garnacho doesn't look comfortable on the right wing, but Ten Hag still does it. Rashford on the left, again, his day's numbered. And the only goal scoring option we have is Xerxes. I mean, fancy being in the same situation again as Martial. I mean, we let go of Martial because he was crap and he needed to go. But we're in exactly the same position again with the goals because we don't have a backup striker. If we lose Xerxes to injury, we are screwed. I don't think anyone realises that quite quickly. If we lose Xerxes, we are injured and we're fucked because we won't have a goal scorer. We won't have a striker. Because Rasmus may be back in training, but he is still out to October, ladies and gentlemen. He is still out injured. And they ain't going to rush him back because at the end of the day, if he gets put back in too early and he does his hamstring again, that hamstring injury is going to get worse. But if he pulls it again, have we got an injury-prone striker? It's a bit of a debate. It is a debate, but I'm not saying Rasmus Højlund is an injury-prone striker. It just worries me that he's picking up quite a lot of injuries already. And is at a young age already? That's concerning. But again, Xerxes will have to start because I don't think Ten Hag will want to go false nine. And there are rumours that we're going to play a midfield four again. I mean, if we do that and we play a false nine, I mean, it got figured out very quickly. And I think Erik Ten Hag isn't helping himself by doing it. I don't know why we don't just stick to a traditional 4-3-3. I don't understand why he keeps playing a false nine. Why does he keep doing it? Is it because he knows he hasn't got Højlund and he wants to start him? I mean, if he doesn't start Agate, the midfield battle is going to get lost very quickly because if you look at the young midfielders Southampton have got, it shits on ours, by the way. It absolutely shits on our midfield because they've got younger and hungrier players that can do the job more quickly than the aging retirement home of Casemiro. And the same is for Eriksen. If either of them start Saturday, I've got big concerns what Erik Ten Hag's doing at this football club because it's not going to help by keep on making the same old mistakes that are going to cost Man United any realistically chance of having a good season. And I don't think we will anyway. I think this season is going to be utterly shit because I just think I think the season's gone. I mean, 3 games in, I think the season's gone because we're not where we need to be. I think us Man United fans, we all know it. We are nowhere near where we should be. That is the big, big problem. And will it get any better? I think time will tell what will happen on Saturday because, I mean, where Southampton are compared to Manchester United, it's night and day. A club like Southampton should not have come back up through the playoffs. And I said they'd go straight back down. Exactly, they're heading to the place where they came from, and that is back down to the Championship where they fucking belong. Because I think the quality Southampton, they can't deliver it. I think Russell Martin's already a dead man walking himself. I think both managers could be sacked this weekend. I think if it was to finish 0-0 or it's a draw or maybe Southampton nick it, I mean, who's at fault then? Because I keep saying Maresca from Chelsea will be the first manager gone. I hate to say it, but if Erik Ten Hag fails to get any result for us Saturday, he's got to be the one that pays the price. And I mean, what do we do then? And I think for me, realistically, there's only one option I'd go with, and that's Thomas Tuchel. I would bring Tuchel in. I wouldn't mess about and I wouldn't wait around forever because I don't want Southgate and I don't want De Zerbi. I think Tuchel's the only option. Maybe Ten Hag should have been sacked, and they should have brought Thomas Tuchel in. That might have been the path we should have went down. And I think maybe we are now regretting that. And I think Tuchel would take us back where we need to be, because I think Ten Hag's job's already on the line. I think, what happened Saturday is failure to win. That's Ten Hag's lot. And even my parents have been saying it. This could be it. This could be the weekend where Man United, we are on year 2024. If it hits year 2025, it's going to be 7 managers in 12 years. That ain't great. That says a lot. I mean, would you try and bring Sir Alex back in? I mean, I know the game has moved past his time, but would you do it? Would you beg Sir Alex Ferguson, please come back and get this club back where we need it? Because without him, this club's lost. It's completely and utterly lost. And I think he'd be the only manager to do it. I think he's the only manager we've ever had that can do it. And he's done it. And he's had the glory. But since then, it's been a car crash since he retired. And I know the game has moved on from his generation, but is he the only hope? But I don't think United will go down that direction. I think they'll try and bring a Tuchel in to try and bring the glory days back. But even that's going to take a lot because, United has still not got the squad depth. And I mean, I'm kind of hoping we will see a lot of changes on Saturday. I think the back four will basically be the same. I think, it will be Onana, Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez and Delo. I'm afraid the midfield looks like it's going to be Casemiro, Mainu and Fernandes. And the front three probably Rashford, Garnacho and Xerxes. That's not necessarily what I would do. I would throw Ugarte in straight away, see what he can do in his first Premier League game, give him his debut, see what he can do. I would drop Delo if it was me, but again, we can't because we've got no fucking left back, which is a joke. As for the midfield, well, we ain't got one, have we? I just don't see. The whole game is going to be balanced on what happens with that midfield battle. I think, again, that's United's biggest fucking problem, again, is that lack of midfield options, the lack of midfield depth. We don't have the players. As simple as that, really. Let's call a spade a spade. That midfield depth is shocking. Because maybe we shouldn't have let McTominay go. Maybe we should have let Annabelle go because at least we'd have had more midfield options. But again, they aren't good enough. And I've been saying that, they aren't good enough. And again, they needed to be sold. They need to be moved on. But look what Scott McTominay is ripping up trees on the international break for Scotland, didn't he? I think if Eriksen would have found a club and Casemiro would have found a club, McTominay would still be here. McTominay would still be a Manchester United player. But United needed to sell him to get Ugarte. I don't think that's a big regret. I think Ugarte is going to be an excellent signing for this football club and he will take this United midfield to where we will want it to be with it's no more Casemiro and it's no more Eriksen. It's goodbye Casemiro. It's goodbye Eriksen. Your days at this club are numbered. And I think it also sends a strong message to Mason Mount that good luck getting back in this team because you're not going to play. Those three will not play games for Man United this season. None of them will. Because they're not fit enough. They can't do it anymore. Their level is shit. It's shocking. The fall off from those three is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. The injuries prone Mason Mount, to the slow coach retirement home of Casemiro, to the not same old Eriksen, which he was years ago. He ain't there anymore. And that is again because of the levels are falling off because they can't do it at a consistent level. A club like Man City, it's consistent. A club like Liverpool, it's consistent. But again, these players need to show attitude Saturday. That's all I hope they do. I hope they turn up to Southampton and have the right mentality to somehow get any fans and supporters back on side because I think, realistically, I think the fans are done. I think the supporters are done. I think we're all getting to that point now that how much longer is it going to be like this again? How many more bad results is it going to take for Man United to make a change? How many more results is it going to take for these players to get to where we want it to be? Because I think we'll beat Southampton personally because I think they're there for the taking. The goals they're conceding are embarrassing. Their defensive work in the back four is shocking. I've never seen such a bad promoted club like this in years since Derby County. Remember when Derby County were back in the Premier League years and years ago, back in the 07-08 season? They were absolutely shocking. And that Southampton team has the vibe of that Derby team. They're absolutely fucking shocking. And it is embarrassing that the Southampton fans and supporters have to put up with that shit every week. That must be sickening. That must make you want to throw up. Because if you had to watch that every week, my God, I don't know why Southampton have fans, because their football's embarrassing. Like, you watch them on the highlights, it's like, what the fuck is this doing in the Prem? I'm sorry, Leeds, that should have been you. You should have been a Premier League club this season, and you bottled it in that playoff final. And look where you are again, still stuck in the Championship. And again, if Leeds wouldn't have fell off a cliff, the three relegated clubs would have come straight back up again. That is what could have happened. And it didn't. Thank God for it. Switched down. I mean, it was nice to have someone new actually in the Premier League, wasn't it? But again, I think both managers are fighting for their futures at the weekend. I think Russell Martin is. I think Erik Ten Hag is. I think wherever which way this result goes, one manager will be gone at the weekend. And if it's Erik Ten Hag, then United are in an absolute pickle again, because what would you do? What do you do? Do you bring an interim in, or do you go and get Tuchel? I mean, that's the two options for me. And I don't want it given to Ruud van Nistelrooy. Absolutely, fuck that. I do not want some ex-United legend of the club managing this football team, because that has the Solskjaer vibes all over again, and it will go wrong very, very quickly. And it won't change. It won't change, because we'll still have the coaches of under Erik Ten Hag. And Ruud van Nistelrooy is one of them. You would have to sack the coaching staff as well as the manager. If you sack the manager, the whole coaching staff gets cleared out. And I don't want to be in that situation again. I would want complete change. And that has to start from the manager. And I'm hoping Erik Ten Hag, does take into like some of the, what we talk about, because we want the best. We want it to be successful. We want it to work out for you. But if you're going to keep picking your favourites and you're not going to be starting the better players and making the better choices, then you might as well resign or get yourself sacked, because I think Erik Ten Hag knows. I think he knows he's probably been given an absolute rocket from Ineos during the international break, and he's probably been given an absolute rocket up his ass, because this can't keep happening. Results, no, Ineos has said results can't keep dipping to the standards of the levels that we've seen so far. That's a message to the manager saying, Erik, what the fuck's going on? Like, seriously, like, what is going on? Because this isn't good enough. I mean, could we be on a cloud number 9 situation again if we beat Southampton 9-0? I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but the last time we played them, we did beat them 9-0. And that was the best day of my life as a fan. It was up there when we beat Arsenal 8-2 that season. Right, Arsenal fans? So, yeah, it's one of those things, really, that, I think United are in a better position to win. But I think based on results, I think it's a completely 50-50 situation, because I think Southampton and Man United are both struggling. And it's sad, really, because, Man United are an iconic club, and I don't want to see this club fail. I want to see it be successful. But when you've got a manager who's completely naive of what he's doing and looks out of ideas and tactically gets outclassed by every manager that's up against him, it's no wonder Man United get into the mess they're in and get into the rut that we're in again. 1 win in 3, that is shit. Like, seriously shit. And you can't hide. Erik Ten Hag can't find any excuses from anywhere not to get a result. You can't use injuries. You can't use pre-season. And he can't say we're not ready. We have to be ready. And Southampton will be a tough test. Going away to St. Mary's is always, always tough. But I'm hoping for a positive result. I'm hoping for a comprehensive win. And I think, the floodgates could open if United play the way we all want them to play, because Southampton are there for the taking. They leak goals more than a sieve. And I think they're going straight back down. And that's what I'm kind of hoping happens, because they are shit. And based on Southampton result, 3 defeats in a row, 0 points from 9, that's relegation form already. And it shows Southampton are in big, big trouble already. They're down there with Everton. I think they will be the two that go. I don't know who the third club will be. I don't know who it will be. And again, let's see what happens. But I think scoreline wise, I'm going to go for 4 or 5-0 Man United, because I think Southampton just leaked too many goals to keep United out from any attacking approach. So I hope you enjoyed this live look ahead. I mean, please hit the like button and please hit the subscribe button to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you all, and remember to share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and to always remember the notification bell, put that bell on all time so you receive dedicated upcoming content planned for the last few months of this year in 2024. We've got brand new videos, shorts, live streams planned for all of you amazing people. We've got brand new gaming content. We're going to be doing the new Lego Horizon Adventures game. We've got more Lego Star Wars, more Fortnite. We're going to have EAFC 25. We'll be doing a Man United career mode. Our Predict series is coming back. I'm going to be doing a Bromley career mode as well. So please look out for that. And obviously, please join me for the full-time reaction on Saturday afternoon, which we're all hoping as Man United fans is a win. But again, knowing Man United, they always make it look harder than what it is. But I think, Southampton could be getting crumbled. But let's see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. I'm off to bed. See you on the next one.